Hello, everyone. Here's Emilia. And this week, I would like us to go through a role that is being advertised by Raspberry PI Foundation, which is, I believe, a charity that provides hardware to schools, I think. But also in this particular role, they are looking for senior online courses manager. So basically, the purpose of the video is to help you understand how to best read job applications and then apply for those job applications. In the current market, is super important to make sure that you tailor your CV. And when I work with various individuals, either people are transitioning into different sectors, we very often go through the job descriptions just to understand where and how they fit in the role. So yeah, let's dive into Senior Online Courses Manager for Raspberry Pi Foundation. You can see from the URL, you will be applying through Workable. Workable is a kind of ATS. And whenever providing a CV through an ATS, I would recommend choosing the ATS CV. And what I mean by that, make sure that your CV is easy to read through for ATS/AI. So make sure there is a one column and you highlight some of the keywords that are necessary or particular for this role. There is another version of your CV that you can have is the one that you send to a human. And then, you can have two columns or it can be a little bit more. But for this particular one, I would suggest sending a CV that is everything is in one line, and you also highlight your key skills, ideally at the bottom of your CV, in my opinion, because at the end of the day, it's for the purpose of the ATS to kind of scan your CV and showcase the percentage how well it matches the job description. At the end of the day, though, an employer or hiring manager or HR person should go through your CV regardless. But let's go through the job. So it's a remote role in the UK. There is a location. So you have Cambridge, UK, or remote UK with regular travel to Cambridge. So ideally, you want to be well connected to Cambridge, but it's great because it's a remote and many people are looking for a remote role. And there is a salary range, which is quite nice. This kind of mid level, I would say. Well, they are saying that you can do it part-time, full-time, permanent, part-time, full-time, or flexible. Great, but you need to be eligible to work in the UK. So let's go through the role. So we are looking to appoint an experienced online courses specialist to lead the development and scaling of our online courses to support the teaching of computing, computer science, and AI literacy. Okay, so they are looking for someone who has already created online courses. So if you have done that in your current job, that's great. If you have experience doing that, you will also lead the development and scaling of your online courses. So you are probably leading people, but also developing the online courses themselves. So it's quite a significant role where you'll be creating a product in a way. And then the topics are related to teaching of computing, computer science, and AI literacy. So anything in relation to, IT, digital, AI, if you have taught that or you have experience delivering that kind of resources. AI literacy is something that many providers in learning softwares are doing currently. So there's a lot of talk about this in a corporate aspect, but obviously in the kind of school and education aspect that's also happening there. So since we launched our first course in 2016, over 400,000 educators have taken one of our online courses to help them develop their subject knowledge. And I'm sure that many people who are watching this video have seen the Raspberry AI content. And if so, if you're a teacher, if you are a former educator who is thinking of applying for this role, I would definitely highlight that aspect that you are actually a user. We want to support millions more educators all over the world with high quality, free online courses that enable them to confidently teach young people about computing AI. So yes, computing AI is something that they are focusing in particular in this role and as a company. So highlighting this aspect in your CV is crucial, I would say. You will be responsible for all aspects of design, production, and growth of our portfolio of courses. So you'll be designing, delivering, and making sure that there is a demand for it as well. You'll be working closely with colleagues across the organization, including product, learning, marketing, and impact measurement. So within your CV, it's important to highlight the fact that you have collaborated across different teams, managing different stakeholders with different priorities, different needs as well, working with different people, but also understanding what each of them obviously contributes to the whole success and delivery of online courses. We have developed our own purpose-built, self-hosted platform for online courses. Okay, so they have their own platform where they host the kind of e-learning, and it's called Training Hub, which means that we are able to invest in features that meet the needs of our audience and provide unlimited access to courses at no cost to the end user. So yeah, if there are any changes that need to be implemented, they'll be able to help you with that since they have developed their own platform in a way. Sometimes what happens is that depending on where the company is and what priorities there are, implementing those changes might not necessarily be as straightforward. But hopefully they're getting people's feedback, customers' feedback, and adapting and changing and upgrading the platform as they go. So let's read about the ideal candidate. The ideal candidate will have significant experience designing and producing online courses that support adult learning for global audiences. You want to make sure that you highlight also the fact that you have created content for adult learning. And it's not only the adult learning, like adult learners within the UK, but it's a global audience. So in here, you might relate to the fact that there are different cultural differences when creating the content. Maybe the curricula are a little bit different. Maybe yeah. So think of who is the end user who is going to be using that content, and think like, how have you adapted the content that you created in your previous roles? Our primary audience is teachers and other educators, so experience working with that audience will be a distinct advantage. So great opportunity for educators who have been developing content for other teachers. Highlighting that again in your CV, but also during interview would be crucial, I think. That basically means that you have to highlight the fact that you understand how educators work, how best they engage with the content in that sense. You will have experience of every aspect of course design and development, including user engagement and research, production, moderation, marketing, and evaluation. It's pretty nice role, which basically you'll be the leader of that particular product. And what I mean by leader, you'll be doing everything. So you will design it, you will create it, you will deliver it, then you'll get people's feedback, customers' feedback, evaluation, and then probably change the product according to the feedback that you have received. So yeah, I mean this sound, there is a little bit of product here, but it would be quite interesting. So this particular aspect, I think, would be nice to showcase during the interview process. Whenever you're preparing for the interview, I always suggest to have like 4 to 5 different scenarios of examples of your experience that relates to a particular role. And depending on the question, you can always bring one of the examples, because most probably the example would touch on some aspects of the question. So in here, you can think of a course that you created, you delivered, you developed, the whole basically journey of the product. I think that would be a nice, quite lengthy answer to any interview questions. But yeah, the end-to-end product delivery would be interesting to showcase here. You will directly manage a small, highly skilled team and will work with colleagues across a wide range of disciplines. You should be an experienced manager and a natural collaborator. So yes, you'll be managing a small team, we'll be working across different departments, managing priorities, motivating people. Things of this sort should be highlighted in your CV and also during the interview process. We work hard to make sure that the foundation is a place where everyone is supported to do the best work of their careers. We have a flexible and collaborative approach to all aspects of our work. If you're the right person for the job, we'll make it work for you, and you can be confident that you will be joining an exceptional team of people who care about our mission and each other. So in terms of different companies that you can work for, I think what I've noticed in EdTech is that very often you have the companies that are very much focused on the end user, i.e. they focus on the mission and the vision. They really want to make good, tech for good. And I think that this particular role and company is a big advocate of that. On the other hand, you also have EdTech organizations or organizations in general that are focusing more on the profit. So they are thinking more about how can we make more money? So what features do we need to include to make sure that the customers are either buy us or stays with us for longer? And I think that Raspberry Pi Foundation is not that type of a company. I think they really care about the end user. The fact that they are a charity actually highlights the fact, and it's great to see that they are very adaptable and they are really looking for the right person, and regardless of your circumstances they will adapt if they provided they can. Responsibilities, experience, and personal attributes. Wow, that's a lot. That's a big job description. Okay, and you also have, sorry, great. They are actually highlighting what the interview process is like, which is fab. That doesn't happen a lot. That basically tells you they're pretty well organized, and I think they really care about who they hire, because sometimes you can have a very vague job descriptions that don't give you a lot. And what happens very often is that a lot of applicants, a lot of people are sharing. Whereas in here, you have a list of responsibilities, a list of experience and personal attributes. But what makes it a little bit harder is that when you have such a big list, then it's difficult to pinpoint and choose which one to highlight in your CV. So let's see what they are asking for. So develop the strategic vision and long-term plan for our online courses, ensuring that it reflects the need of educators and aligns with our wider strategy and priorities. But in here, they're also adding the wider strategy and priorities. So I think that's a bit of a further research might be useful to understand where they're going with the company, what are their priorities, and how those priorities align with the product or with the courses that you are going to be designing. Lead the design and development of the portfolio of online courses, from analyzing user needs through to scripting, production, and delivery, working collaboratively with subject experts, videographers, and designers. So yeah, great that you are going to have a great support from people across different departments. Note here is that you'll be working with different experts and you'll be navigating the whole thing. So you'll be like a maestro, basically telling people what to do in a nutshell. But which is great, but you need to highlight the fact that you have done that already, so that you've worked with different people of different skills, different experiences, and you brought everything together. So yeah, oversee delivery and moderation of online courses, ensuring that users have an excellent experience and achieve their learning goals. Okay, so they're adding learning goals, outcomes, learning outcomes. You could also, mention, and that's really important to remember, because whenever you're creating a product, it's not only for the creation of it. You want to create something that is actually use, that people engage with. And in here we have the learning goals. So highlighting the outcomes, the goals of something that you've already delivered would be also crucial. That basically, stipulates that you have an understanding of like, what is my product? Where do I want to go with the product? So what is the outcome of that creation of that product? Work with the marketing team and other partners to promote the online courses to maximize their reach. Okay, so then so you'll be working with marketing team to promote it using different channels, probably either email outreach, social media platforms. Email outreach, they probably have the emails of their current customers, so they will be sending the information through via email. So as a person who oversees the course, you might be asked to provide the content, how you want it to phrase, what language you want to promote it with, like what needs it tackles, what are the pain points, and what are the outcomes as well. And this is something that marketing team would like to know, because it's really, so once you have the product, you want to make sure that the marketing and people see that product, and marketing is how you promote it. So working with marketing and understanding like which channels can we advertise the product with, and what sort of wording we need to use to incentivize people to join and use the courses, join the courses. Work with the product team to define and prioritize the product roadmap for the training hub, ensuring that the platform is responsive to the needs of the users. Work with the product team to define. We have developed our own purpose-driven self-hosted platform for online courses. That's an interesting one. So does it mean that the training hub is where... I'm a bit confused, sorry, because I'm not sure how it works. My question here is, are the online courses the only courses that are hosted on the training hub? Or are there any other courses? Because from this particular sentence, I think it means that that the only thing that is hosted on Training Hub are your online courses. But then you work with a product team. So in here, again, cross collaboration with different teams to prioritize the product roadmap. Ensure that online courses reflect evidence-based pedagogy and andragogy. I'll have to Google it later. In line with the Foundation's agreed approaches to teaching and learning. Evidence-based pedagogy is fab. And the fact that they are kind of thinking about it when creating about online courses is great. If you haven't looked into what evidence-based pedagogy is, I would definitely highlight, and I would definitely suggest to go and find what it means and why it's important. This basically highlights the fact that Raspberry Pi are very much user-led organization, and they think about the end user basically. Identify and respond to trends in online learning and the teaching of discrete and cross-curricular computing, ensuring that content is innovative and remains relevant. So would be good for you to understand what are the trends in online learning, what are the nuances, what are the new things coming up in online learning. And in here, obviously, you're teaching about, like, you'll be doing the courses and providing the courses on AI and computing. And then knowledge about, like, what is happening in this space it would be quite interesting. What I've been noticing that happens a lot is obviously AI is coming into the learning and teaching space, and AI helps you navigate the learning journey and chooses the aspects of the curriculum design and guides the learners. It basically creates a more tailored user journey or learner's journey. So having an awareness of that, but also how are you going to, is it going to be implemented in your role? i.e., if you're creating a roadmap for Training Hub, are you considering adding AI aspect into it? So yeah, a question to think about, to raise, to research. Let's continue. Contribute to the development of the foundation's teaching and learning strategy and approaches. Cool. So I think like your online course, the online course you'll be delivering would be part of the kind of wider strategy of the foundation. Develop and implement systems for quality assurance, including in relation to the foundation's policies for inclusion and accessibility. Okay, so yes, I think I've mentioned you'll be delivering content, global content. So inclusion, accessibility, would be really, really important. But quality assurance, understanding the different culture aspects of that would be important. And then use feedback and data to drive improvement and reach of online courses. Take responsibility for producing internal and external management information and reporting as required. Okay, so once you've created the courses, you're driving the implementation and the reach, but then also find out what is the feedback, what are the learning outcomes, what are the learning goals that have been achieved, and implementing those changes and changing whatever is necessary. Manage, coach, and develop high-performing team, assuring that capacity and resources are planned and managed effectively to deliver agreed priorities. Yeah, so you'll be working with different people, stakeholders within the organization. You'll be managed, coach them, and you'll be responsible for delivering agreed priorities. So in here, working to targets, working to deadlines, shifting priorities. These are the aspects that I will probably highlight in your either CV or your interview. And whenever you're preparing for an interview later on, I'm not referring to an interview with the HR person or a talent person. You don't really want to highlight the kind of amazing situation plain sailing when delivering a product. I think it's really important to bring examples of a successful delivery, yet also, along the way, some sort of a hiccups or highlighting those hiccups and how you overcome those. I think it's really, really important as well. And last one, represent the Raspberry Pi Foundation to external audiences and work collaboratively with external stakeholders as required. External audiences, so you might be working with partners, other organizations, you'll be representing the company. Yep. Experience and personal attributes. So we had responsibility, so what you will be doing, and then experience and personal attributes. We recognize that everyone has the potential for growth, definitely. We welcome applications from candidates who can demonstrate that they have some, but not necessarily all, of the experience and personal attributes listed here. I love them. That's great. And to be honest with you, it's really nice to see that. Not only at the very end, sometimes the job description have the kind of comment about the inclusion and diversity, but here it goes through the whole job application. So that's great. So experience in bringing together internal stakeholders to set the strategic direction of a product, aligned to the organization strategy and meeting the needs of identified audiences. So you will be working with stakeholders internally, so different people within the organization, to understand what is the direction of the product that is also kind of aligned with the strategy, but also meets the needs of your teachers and educators. Depending on where you are, who you are, showcasing that is really, really important. I don't know, as an educator, someone who is working in leadership in education, or a senior educator, I'm sure you can kind of highlight the fact that you have worked with stakeholders internally, and you have different needs of other audiences that you have to incorporate as well. Significant experience in leading the production of online courses for a global adult learner audience, including experience of understanding learner needs through to planning, writing, moderation, and impact evaluation. Experience in creating professional development for educators would be advantageous, I guess. So if you're an educator who have been delivering content for teachers globally, great. If you have been delivering content not necessarily for a global audience, that's fine too. But if you can showcase the fact that you have done it for a global audience, that would be amazing. Understanding of andragogy research and principles with a proven ability to translate evidence information, adult learning into high quality course content and learning experience. Okay, I'm going to Google that. Bear with me. So it is a method and practice of teaching adult learners, defined as the art and science of helping adults learn. Yeah. So if you are an educator working in a school, then you kind of, if you're bringing examples of any of the things that we discussed with young kids, might not necessarily work great. I'll definitely think of examples more with adult learners. So that's quite a significant thing here. And they've mentioned that a few times already. Throughout your CV, during the interview, I wouldn't necessarily highlight the fact that, the examples that you bring shouldn't be the ones necessarily where you bring students. Having said that, if you can phrase it differently, that you could. But I think that there are particular differences when teaching and delivering content for adults versus kids. And understanding those would be crucial. Experience working in cross-functional product teams, championing an educator perspective and proposing platform features and improvements as part of a product roadmap. Okay, so they are referring to the, training hub. So there will be definitely some changes in relation to delivery of the content and also the changes to the platform itself. So you and the product team would be the ones guiding those changes and implementing those changes as well. Experience in the collection, management, analysis of feedback and learning analysis to maximize course enrollment, participation, completion, and repeat learning, and to drive a continuous improvement cycle. Fab. I mean, from a person who's been working in EdTech and who works with a number of different EdTech organizations, the fact that this is highlighted in the interview, in the job application, is amazing because it basically says that they are thinking of that. This is one of the things that is really, basically, it's highlighted, it's important. So it's important to them to create product that is a sticky product. What I mean sticky is the courses that are really valuable to the end users. And so continuous feedback and continuous improvement cycles are really crucial here for stickiness of a product. So that's great. Here, though, remember that there can be so many different, aspects of the platform that you might need to improve, and so many different areas of feedback that you can receive. Then prioritizing those might be tricky. So every single person may have a different opinion about what to improve, what not to improve, and choosing those and analyzing that feedback is important. Experience of managing a team in a collaborative and supportive environment with the ability to plan and manage resource allocation effectively across multiple projects and priorities. But yeah, in a nutshell, experience of managing a team in a collaborative and supportive environment. Again, something that you want to highlight in your CV, but also during the interview, bringing in those kind of scenarios and examples, painting a picture of where you've been, who you worked with, and how you collaborated with the team is important. Then we have flexibility, adaptability, and collaborative approach to working with colleagues and external partners, with an openness to working across the foundation's programs and products. So you'll be working across. Yeah, they're looking for someone who is adaptable, who is approachable. So you want to be a people person. You want to come across as someone who is very approachable, easy to talk to, and yet knows the boundaries, basically. With this role, you will have probably quite a lot of different priorities, working with different people, different characters, and navigating that needs to be highlighted as well. A commitment to Foundation's missions and value, including diversity, equity, and inclusion. Fab. Read about the mission, vision, and values, and let those values be showcased in your interview as well. Willingness to travel in the UK and potentially internationally. Okay. I think at Raspberry Pi, they attend different events as well. So you want to go to different events, but since they are working with educators globally, you might be also going to visit particular institutions. I'm going to leave you with About Us. You can read it on your own, in your own time. But in here you might have, you might have a bit of info about what countries they are serving, where the teams are, and that's kind of can highlight, you can actually highlight whether you work with any of those in the past. And then they're also providing you more information about benefits, timetable for applications. And then they are also mentioning more about recruitment process, which is amazing. What I would probably suggest, we have an email here. In the current market, it's really important to stand out. When submitting your application, obviously you have to fill in the details, cover letter oaths, strongly advised to, obviously you have to provide a cover letter. I would probably also just send a quick, when you submit your application, I will also send a quick message to the email that they are providing, just to highlight the fact that, you've seen the post, you have applied, and you're super excited about learning more about the role and hopefully setting up an interview. The reason I'm doing this kind of videos is just to give you a more understanding and insight into what is important to look for in the job application. It's good to adapt your CV according to what is being showcased in the job application. And in this job application, it's clear that you'll be working on creating the online courses for computing, computer science, and AI literacy end to end. So it's a big project, I would say. So showcasing that you have delivered a big course globally is really, really important. Having the knowledge of AI, I think, is also quite important. So if you can do some sort of additional, free courses, there are lots of free courses, Google, AWS, and also the government office now. It would be good, but just look as a part of the research, I think, for the interview once you have it would be quite useful. So yeah, just wanted to showcase like what to look for in the job application, and then how to tailor your CV. But most importantly, once you land an interview, how to prepare for the interview, because every single stakeholder that you're going to be meeting at Raspberry Pi Foundation might have different priorities, and you have to tap to those priorities most probably. I'm Amelia. If you need any help applying for roles, if you need any help with your career and where you want to go, or if you need kind of CV audit, feel free to reach out to me and I'll do my best to help you. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.